All right, man. So why don't we just start with what's going on? Like, give me your take on where we're at right now. I really want to hear like your perspective on what you think is going on.
I mean, right now it just feels like we're at a spot where people realize that they have to use their voice now. And I mean everybody. Like we're starting to see like a team effort to battle racism. Like we realize black people can't do it alone and white people have to speak up. And I'm starting to see that that's actually what's happening. Mm-hmm. But I want every white person out there that's helping or that's thinking about helping, I want y'all to understand that there's probably not going to be any awards. There's not going to be any pat on the back. There's not going to be a high five. Like you're doing it just because you know it's right. And I think as long as they understand that, you know, because I see people like, well, I went to this march. It's like, yeah, that's great. But there's a lot more going on. Mm-hmm. As far as everything that's going on, I think it's been going on. It's just getting revealed.
Yeah.
This is not anything new. I mean, not to call him out, but John's older than me. So I'm sure he's seen more than me. Mm-hmm. And just from, like, I grew up in Ferguson, like we talked about before.
Yeah.
I've seen worse almost, you know? So it's just like, it's time to end it. And the only way to end it is together.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think they're look, those changes at the highest level politically require a certain level of will, right? And that will is a reflection of popular support. And I've never seen this level of popular support. So it's about figuring out how to harness that and channel it in the right direction so that it doesn't just dissipate and then we're back to some version of normal. Because and I think like what we don't want to do is make the mistake of what happened with Ferguson. Like we talked about Ferguson last time, you growing up there and everything that happened there in 2014. And I think there was a sense that after that, there were going to be some changes and we didn't really see that, right? Yeah. This does feel different to me. I don't know if it does to you.
No, definitely.
But, I think there's an opportunity here.
Yeah.
Tell me the
my
truth,
patience.
John.
I know. I'm sitting there. I told John before. I said I'm gonna be quiet most of the time.
No, I don't want you to be quiet.
My patience is up. I'm 56 years old. So in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed. So if you were born before 1964, black folks had no civil rights. And we still had to fight to the point where Martin Luther King got killed 4 years later, and then the riots. Then 47 days after the riots, the Civil Rights Act was enacted. Mm-hmm. That's when it took effect. It got to go literally the only way this country or most people have ever dealt with things is when it hurt them in their pocket. Mm-hmm. Do I think it's the right thing to do? No, I don't think anybody's stuff should be burned down. I don't think anybody should be in this situation. But you know what? From what it seems like it's a lot of talk. And it does not feel real. So the change doesn't have to come, like John said, from both sides. The reason what he means by the change got to come from both sides is black folks need to say enough is enough. And white folks need to say, what do you need? Mm-hmm. That's change. They can't help us. White folks can't help us. We got to help ourselves, and we got to do it this way, period. Like, you know, someone said, we ain't got no money. We do. We gotta now crowdfund and source to ourselves. We now have to build things that help us as a community. We now have to separate, like, we got to take a second. We got to step away. Integration was at this point. We love the allies. But we as black folk gotta step away. Gotta step away and figure out which one of us are like Candace Owens and which one of us are like Killer Mike.
Yeah.
This is the difference, and this is the problem. When you separate, everybody stays separate, but we have to pick a side. We have to either say we're gonna go this way or we're gonna go that way. And we have to make a decision that those on this side raise their ways and those on this side raise theirs. Before, We try to mirror, we try to put it together. And what we got was a Vietnam War and drugs in our community. I was 10. So we got to change that look. I think we got to act like Americans when they no longer wanted to be subjects of Great Britain. Mm. And Malcolm X said, if you talk about a revolution, there's nothing nice about it. It's nothing cute about it. And if it doesn't, we're going to go back to the normacy. And the normacy was wrong.
Mm. And that's why when you hear, Make America Great Again, we're like, when the fuck was it great for us? Mm-hmm. Like, we had some moments, like, put it this way. For people out there that listen, when your rebuttal is Black people had it good, they had Michael Jordan or they had Barack Obama. If you could only think of 5 people as the barometer of we had it good, that's not good. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people do it all the time.
Yeah, but no, everyone knows it wasn't good. The deal is, what we're gonna do? Like, do we send money to the NCACP?
NAACP.
Same too. Same.
I mean, right.
I'm sorry. NAACP. Do we send the money to Black Lives Matters?
Right.
What happens when you send the money there? When they put this in, are we going to hear corruption? And this guy bought a Bentley and 3 houses. Mm-hmm. Like, what are we going to hear? What is going to be the move? Do we send it to Minister Farrakhan? Do we send it to Al Sharpton? Do we send it to Dr. Umar Johnson? Like, we literally need leadership. Yeah. One thought process, I would say. Mm. And I don't know if it needs to be led by a religious fraction or not. I was going to post something the other day. And Rich, this is the deal. I'm on this show because John asked me to be on. Uh-huh. And I said...
You hear reluctantly?
No.
No, not reluctantly. No.
Because I'm angry. Uh-huh. And because I'm enraged. But, me being a Buddhist, is you don't ever react in anger. But it's like, I got a 17-year-old daughter and 23-year-old daughter who say to me, how'd you let it get this far? Mm. Like, I was in charge.
Right.
But then I'm like, yeah, I posted on my post, it said, know your position, make your choice. Yeah. Now, and that was literally to as many Black folks because they knew what it was, like, you're going to play the back, you're going to play the front, you're going to sit in the house, you're going to be in the field. All those different words came about. And I was like, we have to literally unlearn everything. If we don't unlearn it, we're going to start acting like my boy Charlemagne said. He had a book called Black Privilege. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you got to think about it. He was like, sometimes we act in a certain way as if we're on this side looking at Black people like, what the hell?
Yeah.
When we supposed to be looking at ourselves like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. So I just said, pick exactly what position you want to be in history. Do you want to spark it? That's why I decided to open up my own stuff. We're going to things and I'm making everybody else money posting their stuff. And I was like, if I don't show these cats, especially nowadays, financial
freedom and literacy.
Yeah, and growth and invested into my own thoughts. And this is why no one else is going to do it.
Yeah. Well, both of you guys are Black business owners. I mean, you got 1 million businesses, right? I mean, I can't keep track. It seems to change a lot.
I have to call John up sometimes. Like, hey man, is this really you? Like, okay.
Right. It's called a 72 means of income.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
diversify.
Well, you gotta have like literally the 72 names of God in Hebrew. So if you can have 72 streams of income, you not only help yourself, you're helping everyone who's associated. So I have 7 right now.
Uh-huh.
You got it.
Right.
Another
7. I'm tired as hell, right?
and you have Vegan Smart, right?
Yeah, Vegan Smart. Badass Vegan as a corporation too, and then the production company Hunger for Justice. So, and that's something we, a lot of people don't realize. Like the black consumers spend $1.2 trillion a year. How many black businesses are put up front to make that money? It's like you're spending and it's going all the way from your community or your people. Now it's like, oh, well, what if you invested that back into the community, back into black corporations, and then other black corporations come about, and it just starts. It's a trickle effect.
Yeah,
that 1.2 trillion is a lot of money.
That's a lot of baby shoes.
You know what I'm saying, right? And it's not going back to the black community though. So they're spending. It's all going out. It's not coming back in.
So how do you catalyze entrepreneurship in your community?
Well, we opened up Planet Health in Compton. 546 West Compton.
Is that your restaurant?
Yeah. So this is a trip because it's a small restaurant part, but it was like a strip mall, and then it had like an empty lot next to it. So I got in touch with the guy Moses who was making the generators to make water out of the atmosphere, and hopefully gonna talk to Ron Finley again about putting a farmer's market there, and then we sell hair. Coffee. There's a stage for people to talk and get their words out, learn things.
That's cool.
Small cafe, and then it's a clothing store, but with all stuff made in LA. So literally, we did that across the street from New Body. Got to say that, New Era, because we wanted just to take over Compton Avenue. That mentality, and then I opened up Plant Organics Cafe O in San Bernardino in a brown neighborhood. So I put one in the black neighborhood and one in the brown neighborhood, and health and wellness. So it still fits with what we do.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get rid of I wanted to make an oasis. I wanted to get rid of the lack of food and lack of knowledge and health in the black community, and brown community.
Right. I want to get back to one thing you said earlier about leadership right now. What is different about this moment versus 64, MLK, Malcolm X, is that there is no iconic leader at the moment for this. That leadership is distributed. And, how does that impact this movement? Like both of you guys are amongst those leaders. You both have huge profiles. You got people who really care what you think. And I'm sure you take that responsibility seriously and, think long and hard about how you message to your respective communities. But, what does leadership mean in this moment in Black Lives Matter?
It means everything. I tell you, because the way everybody is getting their information is literally the same way. It's not diverse. So all the information comes from television and Instagram. So you don't have a paper that had been, or you have a couple of papers, but none that we don't go and pick up the paper now and read it the same way. Things can be blocked and on Facebook and on Instagram and YouTube, and those are the sources we get our information from. It is no, we have the paper in Inglewood, but it's not that everybody's running out to see what the news is. We're used to turning on CNN and believing that. Used to turning on Fox and believing that. So the problem with the leadership is, who do we trust to be 100% on this side and never going to waver? And the only person that was like that was Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick put his neck on the shoulder like Muhammad Ali did, and but he's not saying, hey, I want to be the leader of this movement. Right. So the problem is, we just have to find out where, because, do you go after a celebrity? Do you listen to Dave Chappelle or do you check it? Like, we don't know. Like, Dick Gregory quit being a comedian to be an activist. Yeah. So it's just, but he's passed. So it's like trying to figure out who and what side to move on, because we have been for a better word, we have been literally massaged into believing it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
We've been, it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
We got to literally not feel that. We got, and who, I don't know who we listen to.
It's a big trust factor with that.
Yeah.
It's a big trust factor.
Because this time we want to move away from it. We want to get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I know I do.
Is it because you got to think about, like, there are so many people with ulterior motives. It's like, so yeah, maybe they might come in, they might want to help, they might want to do something, but it's like, but what's the ulterior motive?
Mm-hmm.
And track records have shown, like, it's not a big track record of good people right now, you know what I'm saying, on both sides. So it's like, who do we want to trust and who wants to take that? Because, like, maybe 3-4 years ago, Kaepernick had that energy. He wanted to do that. Now he's like, well, fuck y'all. Y'all didn't want to listen to me then. You know,
Yeah.
You don't want to listen to me then. Like, you know, I moved on because y'all didn't want to listen to me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Like, and then who wants to be torn down by the other side too?
Right.
Because whoever is going to be that leader, it's going to be a mission for other people to go after them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the premise of Black Lives Matter, there's nothing corrupt about that. There's nothing, but there have been people out from day one. The money's going here. The leadership is this.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
the
Right.
core of it is good. Of course, you're gonna get people that trickle in that aren't like 100% at the protest. They turn into looters and they do riots. It's like, okay, do you really think that the people of Black Lives Matter is out there, the ones that are literally starting the fires or doing this and that? Like, and I'm sure you get it all the time. People are like, well, if Black Lives Matter so much, why do Black people kill each other? I'm like, do you think the people in Black Lives Matter are the ones that's killing other Black people? Like, do you think, like...
I got the answer for that too. And I have to tell people because I know I sounded very strong when I first came on, but being pro-Black is not anti-white.
Yeah, you don't hate white people. Just
no, I you know.
Well, there's a lot of moral confusion out there now around
I don't have that. No, I don't have that. Like literally, I'm about to sound like a white guy. No, but my wife is half Caucasian, and some of my best friends are white. No,
how dare you?
It doesn't sound crazy the other way around, but I literally it does. But I just want people to understand that it's like, this is not the OJ trial. This is not the Rodney King.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that we could even go back to that, on how people were so separate, how separate the country was, and how like Black people that didn't even know who OJ was on his side. Like that kind of stuff we got to get away from, you know. So, and I'm glad that my daughter's age, different than ours, is they kind of see no color. That's
how are they doing with all of this?
They're angry. My daughter Giovanna is 32. She's losing it, and I had to tell her, "Yo, chill." I had to say chill, and she was like,
for you to say chill.
Yeah, for me, I was like, chill. I was like, because you're transferring something else into this. Like, don't transfer. You got to be smart about how this gets done. But the one thing that I would say that I love the allies that are on our side, but we just want police brutality fixed.
100%.
We don't all the rest of that shit. We don't want all that. We just want cops to stop killing us. I literally drive the whitest of white cars in the world. I drive a Prius. And, no. I did. I drove a Prius.
That thing?
I drove a Prius and I still got pulled over. No, I'm joking. No, I drive a Tesla, and I'm driving,
and it's even white.
And it's white. White Tesla. I drive this car, and if I see a police officer, I still second look.
Clinch up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the hell? I'm 56. I'm still doing that. And you do. I still second look. And I just want that part to stop.
Have you had gnarly encounters in the past?
Yeah, when I was playing for the Miami Heat, it was 1994, 95. So I'm hanging out with my brother, Michael, and I'm working for Toyota. So I get a Land Cruiser every 4,000 miles. But it's like the big, this is when Toyota was throwing it out. So I had this big, beautiful white one, and I'm getting on the causeway. We're leaving the club. Now, I don't drink or smoke. So, and we're driving, and the cops pull us over on the causeway and tell me to cut the car off, drop the keys out of open the door with my right hand, get out, and walk backwards while their guns was drawn. Then they got me, turned me around, put my face down, put the lights. Oh, it's John Salley. Yo, sorry, dude. We heard somebody, I stole a white truck like this on the beach. And so my brother was like taking the shit. He was like, come on, we're cool, right? Yo, man, nobody. My brother was like, if I would have tripped, you would have shot me. If I would have stumbled going backwards, you would have shot me. And it never clicked until my brother told me that. And he was like, Salley, we're cool, right? I was like, Got in the car. We get 20 minutes from my house. You ain't say shit. I still couldn't say anything. I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, wow. But I got about 6 of them. But I become so numb to it until I saw George Floyd. It was amazing. It was like those girls calling in on Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby, like,
exactly. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Something clicked. And I was like, yeah, that could have been me. And the trip is, I posted today, a white dude going through the same thing. So it wasn't just black. It was police brutality.
Exactly.
And that's what I keep saying to people. They keep thinking I'm making it black. No, I'm making it police brutality. And my cousin's like a chief, was a top captain. My other cousin's a chief in the fire department. My brother's a correctional officer. I get it. But they still overstep their bounds.
So when you hear defund the police.
No, I said fund the police. So now we could know what they need to do is, if we got snitches in jail, we need snitches in the police department. Find out which ones are on the believe that the Aryan race is stronger. Find them, tag them, get them out. What they're going to do is start their own police force. So now you got to watch it. So we watched Black Klansmen. We watched Mississippi Burning. We saw all these things are imitating life. We watched it, knowing what it was about, police brutality. Now we need to stop it.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that we need a healthy police force. I don't know why anyone would be calling for the abolition of the police. I'm certainly not anti-cop, but I think we need to figure out how to allocate those funds appropriately so they're going in the right direction.
Give them more money.
We got to train these people better. They need to be able to manage their emotions under pressure. They need to be adequately trained with firearms. They need to know how to handle high conflict situations. Like, if there's anything that comes out of all of these videos, it's that these people are ill-equipped for high-stress situations.
They should stand down.
Racist or not, I'm not saying they're not racist,
right? But even one, a lot of them need to know the law. We need to retrain police officers to know the law and know the rights. That's the deal. They don't know the rights. They believe they're above the law.
Exactly.
So when you don't know the rights of the citizen, you will violate them, right? Power is corrupting. Absolute power is absolutely corrupting. So if you think I got the gun and the badge and you Eddie Murphy this shit, yeah, who are you? I'm a nigga with a badge, right? That means I get the right to kick your ass whenever I feel like it. Well, that is a mentality. It wasn't just Eddie doing it in the movie. That's a mentality. Like when I said, when we know that the thing that everybody is rioting and protesting is not, I'm black, you're white.
Right.
It sounds like it, but what we're protesting is police brutality. Period.
And they need to know that it's consequences to their actions. Right now, like you said, with them thinking they're above the law, just like, yeah, I can whoop your ass. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the mentality right now. It's like, if they find out they can do something and then later on they realize, oh, well, nothing's going to happen to me. Their morality, that paradigm shifts for them. Like, well, I know this is wrong, but I get away with it every day.
And layer on top of that, the fact that opportunity is attractive for a certain person who gets into that field of work because of whatever trauma or abuse that person suffered in their life that makes that job
Revenge.
sound appealing.
Revenge
They're gonna do RoboCop.
Exactly.
Was it RoboCop?
Yeah, it was RoboCop. Yeah.
RoboCop's about to come, man. Then everybody's up
Robots.
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. But
I'm sure you've had run-ins with the police too, right?
Yeah. One case that always sticks out to me is that I was in college. I played college ball. I was going to a classmate's house to meet up with her, and they lived in a better neighborhood. You know, I lived in Ferguson. They live in a better neighborhood. I'm riding over. I got this a 9.8 Oldsmobile. If anybody ever like it's beat up. It's a hoopty, whatever. I'm driving it, and I noticed the cop get behind me. And mind you, I'm still looking for her house because I've never been in the area really. So I am driving a little slow, and then he puts the lights on. I'm like, and automatically, like you say, like fear, like. I remember just a segue. I remember I put out a post about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, for everybody out here, I want you to answer. If you get pulled over, what's the first thought that goes in your mind? Most white people were like, oh, you know, maybe a ticket, this and that. Most black people were like, I might fucking die. So that's a big shift for people to understand. Like, yeah, we might, even if I don't die, I'm probably going to end up with some kind of injury. Like, that's for a ticket, whatever. So he's pulling me over. But I waited till I got like more in front of her house because I always remember Rodney King. I'm like, I want witnesses. Like whatever's about to happen to me. This is before cell phones had cameras. It was like 90, 97, something like that. So I'm like, all right. So I get there, but I called her. I'm like, hey, I'm outside. The cops just pulled me over. I'm just letting you know in case something happens. So he comes up. He's got he unflaps the gun. He's got his hand on the gun. And he's like, what are you doing here? That's the first question. Like, I'm not allowed to be here. I was like, oh, well, I'm meeting up with a classmate. We're about to do our paper together. My book bag is right here. Hey, don't move your arms. My bad. I'm just showing you my book bag is right here. So now 4 other cops have showed up. And by the time we like keep getting our conversation going, he's like, why didn't you stop when I first turned the light on? I was like, well, I was nervous. I just want to make sure it was witnesses. This and that. He's like, no, you stop when the lights come on. I'm like, well, I was in the middle of the street too, so pull over. And he gets my license, registration, goes back to the car. I'm telling him, like, I'm still outside. I see her come outside on the porch. Her father was like a state official, some kind. So he comes out, he's like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, this guy, he meets the description of the guy. Him and the car meet the description of the guy that just robbed a grocery store around the corner. And I'm like, well, damn, like, was he in a cutoff t-shirt? Because I'm like, I just can't play a ball. Like, I'm not like, you know, like who robs a store?
That's like so many stories though.
It's
could have
so
just
crazy.
Gone terribly wrong.
And now, mind you, I'm a 20-year-old guy. You know, I'm not even. I'm nervous as hell. You know, like and everybody's like, oh, if you just comply. But I'm like, man, when the fear kicks in, you're like, dude, I might die right now. Like, you don't know what you're gonna do. So I'm sitting there waiting on everything to go through. Finally, they come back. Luckily, they stayed on the porch and waited. And I think that literally made this whole story change. So finally, they gave me the papers back. No, he's not the guy. They go. Come back to my classmate's father. He calls into the office or whatever because they just wanted to check. Like, was there a robbery? They're like, no, there hasn't been a robbery at any grocery store in that area in the last like 5 years.
Just made it up.
So they just made the shit up. But I just didn't fit like I should have been in that neighborhood.
Right.
Now, mind you, the classmate was black too. But she has like a Lexus. And I'm riding around in the night. You know, like it was just so... I'm telling you, like I was nervous like the whole time. But
he was wearing a cutoff t-shirt, like
no,
showing the stomach.
Cut off arms. Like, no.
I was like, were you wearing a crop top?
Yeah.
Maybe you got pulled over for the crop top.
Lime green.
Yeah. Were y'all working on dance steps?
Oh man, no, it was like a basketball shirt. So you know, but it pisses you off afterwards. Like. It's like, why would you even fuck with somebody like that? for no reason. Now, I'm not saying there's not bad people out there.
So the guy he saw the car. He's like, this is a tweaked ride this guy's got. Like, he looks like he's black, like lights up.
Yeah. He shouldn't be in this neighborhood. It's a beat up car. Like, the car is beat the fuck up. So like, he's like, no, this car shouldn't be in this area. What's going on? I'm like, but if I'm gonna do something shady, I wouldn't be going slow.
You wouldn't be creeping slow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be creeping slow. Like, why would I creep around it? Like, so it was just, but it's so many stories like that. I mean, I've had more run-ins myself, but it's like, and that's the messed up part is because you're kind of powerless.
Because they have supposedly absolute power, and absolute power corrupts you. It makes you believe that anything other than you is lesser. White, black, purple. If we don't change the way that thought process is, like the other day, excuse me, I forgot his name, but the brother got killed in the Wendy's parking lot in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Right.
I forgot.
Yeah.
He's standing up having a conversation.
Rayshard Brooks?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's having a conversation. Yeah, he's tipsy. He doesn't know his rights. He doesn't have to take the breathalyzer test. Next you know, he's wrestling. And then as I'm watching it, they go, well, look, this is when he turns around and points the stun gun. Well, he pointed a stun gun, and then the cop shot him with a real gun.
Good. Right.
So why, if did he feel threatened?
In the back.
Did he feel threatened by a stun gun? Then he should have, well, he stole my stun gun, so the only other gun I had to shoot him with was that. So it gets to a point where you got to stop giving excuses. We cannot have any more excuses. We can't have George Floyd, and since George Floyd, 7 other people get murdered.
Yeah.
Murdered.
I know.
Murdered.
There was
we can't have
the
it.
kid in Palmdale who they found hung and
Two.
they're calling it a suicide.
And they say suicide.
Two.
Yeah. Like, come on,
I can't
man.
keep up.
Well, we have to.
It's crazy
That's the problem.
with the world, paying attention to this so closely and a spotlight on police behavior that these kinds of things would happen.
You got protests for police brutality where police are being brutal against the people that are protesting. It's like nobody sees this shit. Like, and people
Well, it
like,
gets
well, they were out
confused.
there.
It gets confused because you have looting and like people like
That has nothing.
But I'm
to
saying,
I know,
though,
but that's
but they do it
where
before
the
they even
attention
loot.
gets dispersed.
Yeah,
right?
but they're doing it to people that aren't looting. It's like, all right, we all have the right to peacefully protest. Whether it's a knee in a football game, whether it's out on the street, whatever it is, we all have that right.
And looting in every single riot. There's looting in every. That's why it has a name.
Yeah.
And half the people that are looting have shit to do with the actual cause. They're opportunists. Like, let's be honest.
Riot. Yeah.
There's a difference between looting and rioting. Rioting is breaking some shit and tearing some shit up. Looting is walking out with Louis Vuitton that has nothing to do with George Floyd. Like, you got people walking out with 8 Nike boxes. That ain't got nothing to do with George Floyd.
It depends if they were throwbacks, though. I'm just
walking
joking.
out of Nordstrom at the Grove.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
stuff.
Like, that has nothing to do with the and that's where
I gotta say the white chick, but did you ever see the one when the newscaster is saying,
yes,
well, maybe she's an
employee.
Oh, really?
Because she was a white lady.
This is
the
funniest thing about the white chick. She was walking slow. You always see everybody else running, trying not to get caught. She was like, this shit fits. I love that kind of
She was
movie.
like, yeah, she literally bringing it up to herself. Like,
I did see video of people walking down the street with bags and then lines of cops across the street doing nothing because they were focused on, whatever else and just letting that go. Like,
yeah, man.
They can't do anything about it in insurance.
There's another video where it's like 3 cops talking to a white lady while she's spray painting the building. And they're you literally hear her say, ooh, you should put George Floyd's name up there. Like, the cop tells her that. Like, they're not doing nothing. It's a white lady. They're not doing nothing to her. Like, they don't say anything wrong. Like, it's...
Those are allies, those police officers.
Yeah.
Those are allies. We need them.
and that's the thing. Like, people are opportunists. There's another video of a lady, like, literally walking up. This guy's, like, trying to board up his store, and he's got the drill. And somebody caught the lady doing it. She runs up to the guy to ask if she take a picture with him. He hands her the drill. She's got the drill. Her husband takes a picture of her. They get back in the car and leave.
Yeah, it was a Benz too. I saw that.
Yeah, it was a Benz. I'm like, wait,
that was the most egregious one because it was so blatant. Like she literally gets out of the Benz, walks up,
That's what
asks
I mean.
to borrow the guy's drill,
Yeah.
poses with it like she's helping,
Yeah,
gets the picture taken,
that's what I
says
mean.
thank
And
you.
she said, who do we trust?
Yeah. And she said,
Who
thank
do we
you.
trust? Like, who do we trust? Like, what's the direction?
What is real?
Yeah,
what is real?
I don't know.
We have these incredibly powerful images and videos that are going viral. We're all consuming them. We're trying to make sense of what's happening. And that kind of butts up against this insane news cycle where we're not sure what's real and what isn't. It's all very disorienting just to find solid ground. Like, where are we standing? And to continue on that idea of being an allyship, like, how can like someone like myself be an effective ally?
First thing I would ask for you, Rich, is to check yourself. You have to check for your own, because we all have prejudices, right? Because we're American. We watch Archie Bunker. We watch Jeffersons. We watch Good Times. We watch Sanford and Son. We watch Friends that had no black people until the second to last season. We watched Curb Review. Like, we watch these shows that kind of structure our pop culture. So the first thing, you got to check yourself for your own inefficiencies, or your own, like, check who you are. Yeah. And once you check who you are, and you check your ego, and you check where you believe you are, that's up. That's it. We watch each person to be as strong as that person can possibly be. And if that person really wants to be an ally, they got to make sure that they are okay with what they see too. Mm-hmm. Give an example. I had a friend in Miami, and he was cool. He was always with us. And then this girl he liked started dating my brother, and he said, she's ruined. I go, what do you mean? Like, he doesn't have a big penis. Like, don't believe the hype. She was like, no. He said, I was like, he's like, no, she's ruined. Like, no other white guy is gonna want her after this. And I was like, whoa. So I had to check him. I said, what do you mean by that? He didn't get it. He still to this day probably doesn't. Well, maybe now he does, but he didn't understand what he meant or what he was feeling. So that's why I say, check yourself. I checked myself 1,000 times before getting here on what not to say and what to say, and how to be as direct without anger and with a thought as possible. Because I grew up in an Italian Jewish neighborhood. My first friends were probably white and black besides my brothers. And Ronnie Rosenbaum is still one of my best friends, and we check each other constantly. And we won't even make. Well, back in the day, we would make jokes, because it was. Yeah. But now we figure out maybe those jokes that we make aren't so good for the psyche either. So I constantly check myself. That's the first thing I think.
Yeah, and I think it also has to be a point where, as far as holding yourself accountable, that's huge. And you have to look back and say, damn, I was a part of that too. Like, and being okay with that, not beating yourself up. As an ally, you have to understand, like, oh, damn, when they did crack that joke. And every white person I know, I don't care how much they try to deny it, has heard a family member, a coworker, friend, whatever it is, when they didn't think anybody else was looking, they slipped in the N-word in some joke, or they were being dead serious, telling the parent. Like, I posted a couple weeks ago about this white girl that was talking to her parents, and the parents were like, well, no, black people want to be in the ghetto. They don't want to succeed. That's their problem. And the white girl's like, no, that's not the problem. She's like, yeah, but they're like animals and this and that. Like this is still going on today. Whoa. You see what I'm saying? So for people to see that, you have to understand that everybody has to speak up. This little I think she was 17 or something like that. If this 17-year-old girl can speak up, everybody has to speak up. And you have to nip it in the bud. You literally have to, when you hear something racist, you see something racist, speak up about it. I think people we talked about it earlier, are too uncomfortable Oh, we're talking with Greg outside. Yeah. They're too uncomfortable with being shunned. Like, no, you're not going to be liked by everybody, but at least if somebody going to hate you, let them hate you for doing the right thing. You know, there's a lot of people like, I know that's wrong over there, but I'm not going to say anything because my family and friends might not talk to me. All right, if those people don't want to talk to you for doing the right thing, fuck them. Like, literally, like that's showing you their character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think that's an example of egregious, overt racism.
Mm-hmm.
I think the harder hill to climb and the more pernicious problem is kind of what you were speaking to, John. Like the idea that there are a lot of people, most people who will tell you I'm not racist, you know, and I don't have a racist bone in my body and I don't see color. And the blind spot for them and for myself is the systemic aspect of all of this. Like when you have watched all those television programs growing up, like I grew up in a white neighborhood. I mean, there's, you know, I went to school with some black people, but it's like, I wasn't reared in black culture. Right. And so
you were,
I was cultural, pop culture. Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Right. And sports and all of that. But this has brought up for me the work that I need to do to like unravel that knot and to kind of identify those blind spots that I have within myself, because, you know, I would look you straight in the eye and say, I've never done anything racist. I don't harbor racist thoughts and all of that. But because of the way I was raised and the people I've surrounded myself my whole life, it's impossible that there isn't some kind of deeply embedded imprint that I need to like look at and unravel.
You said, I said this before. A guy said, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I said, no, but you got a racist heart. And not you, Rich, not you. Yeah. What I mean, to give you an example, I grew up in a white neighborhood. You said that. So you knew.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You knew.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. You grew in a neighborhood that was white.
Right.
That means you grew up in a neighborhood that separated you from black people.
Right.
That's racist. So from the beginning of your being, they separated you from us because of their thought and fear of us. So when you only know this, when you see this, when you see it, you go, Mommy, what's that? They give you the Cliff Note.
Oh, that's them over there.
Right. So that starts it. That starts racism when they separated you and when they didn't include in the beginning. So that's where it starts. The other part is visualization as a young. I said this, what needs to be done, nobody wants to do. Right? Everybody wants to be a martyr, but they forget you got to die first.
You got to die for that shit.
So no one wants to do what needs to be done. And when I say it, I lose so-called followers. I put myself in a position, but this is it. I'm going to say it on your show because I love you. The only way to erase racism is to take the picture of white Jesus out of every church in the world. If you don't erase the thought of God being white, it's going to constantly stay this way. I was going to post every statue they're taking down with Confederate, they need to go in a black church and take the white Jesus off the wall. And they won't do it because the white Jesus was established a cross to do exactly what it's doing, but this is what got us to this point. In Brazil, I was in Bahia, Brazil. There's 365 churches in the city of Bahia. This is the first place they did slaves. They bring slaves into Bahia. They will show you the dances, the capoeira. They will show you the cells where they bring you up from. It's a whole tour. 365 churches. So every day you can go to a different church and worship Jesus Christ, and every picture in there is white. There's gold flaking on the wall, people living in the streets. It's always been this way. So in order to stop racism, you have to stop preaching it when it comes to faith and religion. If that's not done, We're going to stay here.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a little bit of resistance to that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But
Did you
in Detroit?
hear-
In Detroit during 1968, when they went in, they painted Madonna black. So it's called the Shrine of the Black Madonna.
Well, there's just no way Jesus was white. I mean, it's absurd.
You can't tell me that because I saw him in a picture.
Right, in a picture. You know,
my whole life he looked like he had pretty brown hair. And
he looked like Robin Thicke before his
he
career
was the
took
best
off.
looking German dude I've ever seen, man. A German guy without getting his head. Like, it's just not going to, and you know, black people will defend that. Like, there's some black churches who asked this, hey, let's take the picture of the white Jesus down. They said no. They said no. It doesn't mean anything. They said it means everything. It means everything because it means that if the Son of God is white, God is white. If the son of John Salley came out white, we would blood test. Right? Yeah. So if the Son of God is white, God is white. That is establishing that that's the supreme.
Right.
So where do you get white supremacy? That's the beginning of white supremacy.
Super interesting. Yeah.
So
did you see Cornel West talking to Anderson Cooper on CNN the other day?
Yeah, I love Cornel.
Yeah.
I mean, what an incredible monologuer he is. I mean, that was like so powerful. And one of the things he said was, the blowback is coming. Like, make no mistake. Like, this is not going to go quietly into the night and just,
I hope
manifest, beautiful change without a lot of resistance to this. Yeah. So, how do you think about that? Like, where do you see that coming from, and how do we, prepare for that?
I think it's spot on. Like, it's so interesting that people want people to be peaceful and protest. They don't mind the cops being aggressive and getting the protesters out of there. But when somebody's like Dave Chappelle, if he just put out a
did you watch
special,
846?
Man,
it's incredible.
That was not to get too far off subject, but I don't think anybody can bring a story together like he can, like with so many different aspects that just tie in together. But it's just like people have to be willing to understand how long we have been quiet. It's like you see all the memes like, well, we tried to protest peacefully by taking a knee. Nothing happens. We try to protest peacefully on the street. Nothing happens. We try to protest peacefully online. Nothing happens. We burn some shit. Everybody shows up. Well, damn. All right. Well, now you showing up. All right. Okay. Well, now you're here. Now let's talk. And I'm with John on this too. Like, I know people work hard for their business, so I definitely don't want to see that happen. But I also know that sometimes, in order to get the point across,
shit's got to go down.
Shit's got to go down.
I hate it that it does.
I hate it. I hate that. And I wish we could find another way to get them attention. But then we also got to look at the setup that comes along with this too. Like, nobody ever talks about this. They talk about the random bricks that just show up all the time for people to throw. But has anybody ever tripped off? Why is there always a random fucking cop car? For like the extra scene on Street Fighter, remember you just beat up the cop car and you get all these extra points? Like, it's just always an empty cop car for everybody to burn up and spray paint and beat the hell out of. When on a normal day...
Like a prop for a photo op.
Like a prop.
So that we can say that this is out of control.
Exactly. When on a normal day, have you ever just seen a random cop car on the street?
With the windows down?
With the windows down. No cop around. No cop.
Hey, I tell you this. No one likes the truth. That's why it's a hard thing when you got to go in yourself and check yourself. And you know how many times I had to check myself if I wasn't being a house Negro or a field Negro? I had to check myself I wasn't being house. I use the word Negro because it hits a little different. But
and do you think that's why the NFL players acted the way they did with the Kaepernick thing?
They were scared of their job.
They were.
And you had over that.
Owners telling you if you do it, you out.
Or we're finding you this.
And what do you think about what Goodell just said?
Well, I got a text from Drew Brees. I text Drew Brees as soon as it happened.
Did you?
I said, let me help you through this. Let me explain it to you. And then he sent back a wonderful text saying, sorry I didn't get back to you. Obviously, I've been inundated, but I apologize. I had to recheck what I was saying, what I meant. I said it the wrong time, but I now know where I was wrong. I was like, perfect. I love what Goodell. I love what Goodell said, and I think he should say, we should do this now, and we should pay more attention. I think he's stepping up and saying that. Great. I'm glad he did. Talking about giving people their jobs back and all that. All he can do is apologize for mistakes. But right now, Kyrie Irving is telling guys when they're trying to get the NBA season to start back in Orlando, he's saying, I don't think we should be playing basketball right now. Yeah. And then if the black ball players don't back Kyrie Irving, I'm telling you.
He's gonna get pushed out, marginalized.
No. The ones who don't follow Kyrie Irving are the ones who are gonna get pushed out. They're gonna get pushed out from our community because I'm gonna make sure of it. Those who don't join the fight, if you ain't with us, you against us. George W. Bush.
Well, the Drew Brees thing, back to the Drew Brees thing. I mean, that whole situation kind of perfectly encapsulates so much, right? Here's a guy who just said absolutely the worst possible thing he could ever say in that moment. And it was just looking at that thing, I was just thinking, how could he, like, what was going through his mind that he thought that was the right thing to do?
Grew up in a white neighborhood.
I will give him
my point too.
Yeah, and then he got, I mean, the whole world put him on blast. The internet just went insane. Yeah. I will give him credit that he did a pretty good job with his apology. Like he didn't just walk it back and do kind of like that, you know.
The textbook apology.
Like you could tell he put a lot of thought into it. And I do think it's important in this moment where there's a breakdown in civil discourse and we're finding it more and more difficult to actually just have hard conversations where you, John Salley, can say, you could speak your mind, you could speak your truth.
That's why I love
we need to have this. Like, regardless of your opinion or whether we disagree or not, like that is the path forward here. And right now, our culture is so fraught and everybody's so terrified of saying the wrong thing that a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines and remaining quiet in a moment where I think we need to be conversing in public out loud. And when you see Drew Brees and what he did, we need to understand that when someone makes a mistake like that we have to provide them the opportunity to redeem themselves. We can't just cancel them forever. Like if we want to grow and learn from this moment right now, we have to be able to celebrate the wins and figure out how to fan the flames of positive change without just the, shoving aside of the people who don't
Cancel
fall
culture.
into line with whatever talking points are deemed socially acceptable in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think
that speaks to all aspects of this problem from all different lenses.
I think I believe in cancel culture is used too much, but I do believe sometimes it is needed. Like I would say this: if Brees' speech wasn't speech, but his interview, if what he would have said was straight hateful, and you knew it was a hateful tone, then
that was different.
You know what I'm saying? Then just apologizing, that shit just doesn't work. I think we got to stop doing that too as black people. Like, well, he apologized even though he said, I hate fucking black people, and he apologized
that is
later.
different.
You know what I'm saying? But we got situations like that where people literally been hateful, but then they start looking at their money, their dollar, and they're like, oh, I need to go apologize. They don't apologize because that's the right thing to do, because you probably wouldn't have said the first thing in the first place.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little history. George Wallace was the governor of Alabama when that walk across Selma Bridge happened. And he wanted exactly what happened when they crossed the bridge, people getting beat, everything, to when the president had to send the National Guard in to tell him not to kill these black folks. He then had a stroke when he got older, and his nurse was black. And literally saving his life every day. And he apologized. And all these black people put their hands on him. I got it in the Jet magazine. And my mom's made sure, I said, you see, some people you can go back and realize it's gonna come back the one day, the people that you heard are gonna come back and the ones you're gonna need. And I thought about it. I like all of these guys. I love what Drew said. Yeah. I like that they came back. And I like that when people, like you said, get a chance to redeem themselves. but he would not have said that if he didn't grow up thinking the other way. That's why you having us on this show, me in particular, only being my second time, but don't worry about it.
It's only my second time.
Yeah, it's some bullshit.
You come back anytime. We were joking before the podcast. So the first time you came in, you got up in the middle and said you had to go pick up your daughter.
I did?
Yeah, you remember that?
Oh, yeah, man. So she was right down the street from your crib, too.
Anyway,
I was having a rough
you.
daughter time. Ooh, you in trouble.
Yeah, I know.
My daughter flipped out from 14 to 16. Like, tripped. I was looking around. I was like, whose house did you
I'm
grow
in a
up
little bit of that right now.
Yeah, man. I was like, hormones and penises will do some crazy things.
Mine's only 4, so I'm enjoying the ride right now.
Yeah, don't wait till she starts smelling guys from a distance. He smells cute. Jesus Christ, what was going on? I wanted to write a book just on raising daughters. I would have got killed, but man, it would have been tough.
All right, but I stepped on your point.
Yeah, man. It's just we can't do the cancel culture, and people do make mistakes, and Black people always forgive. Just remember that. Don't ever think that they hate me. They're never going to get Black people. And the reason I tell you the George Wallace thing is because he was the most hateful guy. He was so mad that the University of Alabama it was so funny in Forrest Gump, when they talked about putting the football players, and Bear Bryant was like, I don't care what you're saying, I'm putting them on the field. Yeah. He was so hateful. But when it came down to when his life depended on it, it was only Black people around him. There was no white folks around him. And he apologized, and he apologized. And I want y'all to realize that when you make those apologies and they're heartfelt, Black people will put their arm around you.
And it can't be a one-time apology.
Yeah,
you might have to apologize for the rest of your fucking life, but be okay with it.
Well, that's in his mama house. The mama house would be remember that time?
Yeah, but I'm saying though, because the thing is, you might have put out a press release, you might have put out something saying you apologize now, but that don't mean everybody else heard it right then. So you know what I'm saying? Like, but we'll circulate is all the negativity. So if it comes down like Drew Brees talking about, disrespecting the flag, all right, you put out the press release, basically saying, I'm sorry that I shouldn't have done that. But that doesn't mean just because you got over it, that the other person got over it that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. So you might have, it's just like, if you in a relationship.
It's a starting point.
Yeah, if you in a relationship and you mess up, you might have to apologize for the rest of that relationship. And if you plan on having a relationship with Black people, you might have to apologize over and over and over.
Or make the living amends. It's about the behavior. It's about your behavior.
Your intention too.
How is he going to change his behavior?
Because the proof is, and I hate people say this, it's not in the pudding for everybody out there. It's not proof is in the pudding. It's proof is in the put in. But people in America mess up the whole
That sounds like
quote.
Some crazy badass vegan quote.
Yeah, it is some bad. I've been stealing it.
Yeah,
I've been writing T-shirts down every time I'm around this motherfucker.
No.
But the proof is in the put in. It's actually what you put in.
Hey, I got to go get my daughter.
And that's what. And
as soon as you're talking too much,
exactly.
Like, it's probably not on me. I'm done.
Well,
I gotta get my daughter.
I tell people all the time, like that's like my mentor, my older brother, for real. Anyway, so like a lot of times
I've been around him almost most of your
I
life.
didn't know that. I mean, I knew you guys knew each other. I didn't know.
How old were you when I first was your camp counselor?
Don't listen to this shit.
How old were you? How old were you?
It sounds like a messed up story coming.
But no, how old were you? I didn't say in the boys' home. I didn't say in the boys' home, the juvenile home you were in. I didn't mention that.
Man, we've known each other about 10 years. About 10 years, I would say. It's funny though, I wore his jersey number when I was a kid though.
Oh, really?
I was a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know he was fucking crazy back then, but I was a fan.
Yeah, I saw something. I used to have my own sneaker, right? And I was like one of the first guys.
I didn't know that, but like, of course you did.
I did. My brother was on it, and so it was called Osaga, and we sold it at Kenny shoe stores because we thought, we only sell them for $40, so people can afford that, right?
Yeah.
Same Marbury mentality. They don't cost that much to make. Yeah. And somebody says, yo, man, I have a pair of Osagas. And I swear, I don't know if it's because I started smoking weed 20 years ago. I was like, what the hell is an Osaga? So when people would say I was a fan, I go,
name
fan
a shoe
of
a
what?
sock?
I got
Yeah,
so
used to
many
play
businesses.
basketball.
I don't even remember that one.
I was like, oh, I used to play basketball. That's right. I couldn't imagine jumping and hitting somebody, and my knees right now just tweaked even thinking about
Really?
it.
All that self-care?
Rich, I was
Put in
playing this
yourself
guy
all
like
that
this.
CBD?
I was playing this cool kid, and this kid did a move, and he went around me. He went around me so fast, and my legs didn't move, which used to be just, you know, it's like instinct. He went around me so fast this way. I had to look this way. I looked at my legs. I said, that's what we're doing.
That's it, man.
And my wife was like, what happened? My legs don't work anymore. She goes, do
How
your
long
legs
ago was
hurt?
that?
I was like, huh?
How long ago?
It was 10 years ago now. I'm 56 now. I'm 46. I knew. That's why I couldn't understand. Kareem played, he was 42. Robert Parrish, Kobe playing to his. I could not imagine playing 20 years in the league. It to me right now, when I see people, you still run?
Yeah.
I wish I could still.
I got some back stuff though I'm working on.
Yeah.
I got some.
What kind of products you got for me?
Man, I got some unbelievable. I wouldn't mention one company, but they didn't do the deal yet. Quanta.
Put a little pressure on.
Yeah, a little pressure. Yeah. But definitely, I wish my legs still work the same.
There's another company too that same thing. I was working on something with them, didn't go through, but the shit works though. Like they actually got me thinking about playing ball again. Like my knees.
Canavera.
I had surgery on both knees. No, I don't even know if I want to say them.
Oh.
They cool people though.
Yeah, I put something on, and I was like, "Hey, let's go for a run." My wife was like, "Well, I don't want to hear you for 5 days." She goes, "The Peloton's over there." I was like, "Oh man, you know."
Yeah.
You ride the Peloton?
Yeah. I said, "Nah." And they came in the house and said, "Guess what? This works for your height, and we have another 7-footer, so no excuses. And here's some 15s." I was like, "Damn, I gotta do this thing." Yeah, but it's. I tried swimming again.
Yeah,
that was great. But
see, you just destroyed the myth about a black person not being able to swim.
My mother made me learn how to swim and ice skate and read. To swim, ice skate.
I like to
read.
see your stroke in the pool.
Oh yeah, you know who was a really good swimmer? Shaquille. Shaquille
is
swims.
He?
Yeah, like that was his.
Way.
Yeah, man. And then he can get out of the thing and act like a whale and then slide back in the water. He's like a great swimmer. And I was like, I got this pool. I'm gonna go swimming again. Oh, that shit is hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's
swimming is
hard.
Alpine Organics is the name of this. But they got a CBD cream that like put it this way, I was at like an 8 or 10 with my knees.
Pain.
And I'm easily at a 0 to 2 now.
Wow.
And anybody that's been through an 8 to 10 pain will take 0 to 2 in a heartbeat. Now, mind you, it's got me wanting to go play ball again, but probably the first time I step on the court, my knees are going to be like, no, this is not what this is for.
I can't even shoot a hook shot. I tried it. I went on my court the other day and I said, I'm just, you know what? I'm just going to do some, I'm not going to jump.
You have a court at your house?
Yeah. I'm not going to jump that much. I'm just going to do this. Man, I took about 6 shots. I was like, I need to hit the bowl. Where's my puppy? It's like, this is crazy.
All right, let's shift gears here. I want to talk about the doc. Can we talk about the doc?
Yeah, for sure.
For Justice.
Yeah.
You going to give him a new name?
Yeah, you're going to, we're building up to it.
We're building up to it.
I want to hear what it is. But you partnered up with our boy, Keegan, who's the guy behind What the Health and Cowspiracy. Tell us a little bit about this movie. I mean, you guys are still in production.
Yeah. Well, we were scheduled to be done shooting in June, but with the pandemic and everything, we had to put it back. So we're focused on releasing it by the end of the year. The film is about social justice and food justice through the lens of hip hop. Our current, if anybody's seen What the Health, this is like the official follow-up to What the Health. And John's in the movie, Neo, Maya, Styles P, Stick from Dead Prez, Rory,
Waka Flocka.
Waka. We talked, but he didn't want to do it. We did talk about it, but and that's cool. Like I know it's not for everybody. Like because we go very in depth in this, and we're calling out major brands, major government, all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And sometimes it's just everybody don't want to talk about it. So I get it. I don't hold it personal when nobody doesn't want to be in the documentary or anything like that.
But it's like the idea is it's addressing food injustice and like nutritional poverty in the
and showing also
community.
like how certain foods literally are detrimental to the health of people of color. I mean, just like science has shown it. All these lab tests, everything, and then the government still allows it to be sold. And one of the greatest stories I saw was we were looking at an advertisement from either one of the major baby formula companies, and they showed him handing it to me in the movie, and he's handing it to me, and I'm reading it, and it literally says, "Mother's breast milk is not sufficient for the growth of babies." So you're telling people, which is targeted to people of color, that
the thing that
nature
has
gave
been
you.
creating humans since humans were a thing.
That's not good enough. That's why you need this baby formula that's full of fucking cow's milk that's detrimental to people of color already. So 70% of all allergies are related to the ingestion of animal milk, lactose intolerance. So if you starting them off with that, you're not even giving them breast milk. Like people don't even know how much DNA is transferred to a baby from their mother's breast milk.
Not even from your mother's breast milk.
Yeah.
Just another human's breast milk.
Humans.
Yeah, wow. and when you dial it back to the actual mother, the breast milk actually will change its formula to fit what the baby needs. And that's how crazy science is. They're like, no. Don't do that.
We got it figured out.
We got this product here for you.
Yeah. We need to lessen the male African.
Exactly. And then
reproduction.
Yeah.
That's you can say it.
Yeah,
Tell them what you want to say.
Nope.
We're on the show. The deal is they put foods in. The reason I got involved is the first title was They Killing Us. Literally spelled in Ebonics.
Yeah.
They killing us.
Yeah.
Not they are, not there, not maybe. They are, without saying that, they killing us.
Yeah.
This is when I was like, keep that title. Because it literally means something more than just, it's Ebonic. It's the way
really,
I just said it is Black, American, period.
Yeah.
But they changed it.
Hungry for justice.
Hungry for justice. But now the official title of the film is They're Trying to Kill Us. That's the official title.
But not
of the
they.
film.
Not they are.
No, they're trying to kill us. They are trying to kill us. And that's what they're showing. That's what we're showing. Like this whole system is set up to where you're eating this certain food, and it's going to lead to these multiple different either ailments, diseases, whatever. And then when that happens, now you have to go get this pill. If the pill doesn't work long enough, because none of the pills say that they cure anything. They say help you deal with this, with the symptoms of. So it's duct tape. Like if you notice, there's nothing out there. Any of these commercials, they'll give you 85 side effects, may cause anal leakage and all this other shit, but your headache's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they start talking about all these different things, and if that doesn't work, guess what? Now you need the surgery. Now the surgery is $30,000, and after the surgery, guess what you got to do? You got to take some more pills to deal with the lack of whatever we cut out of you,
right?
Because you can't produce it anymore yourself. Or what they don't talk about is right over here, we got this food that you could just eat that's like grown from the ground and will prevent all this.
Talk a little bit about how this impacts Black and African American communities disproportionately from other communities. Because could you make that argument that would be the case, whoever the customer is?
Yeah, you could say that is the case. But what we've noticed is proportionally that grocery stores are not spread around the country evenly. So you look at lower income communities, they'll have a bodega maybe. They'll maybe have a gas station. And what we've noticed is that people call it food deserts. It's not really food deserts, it's nutrition deserts. It's food there, but where's the nutrition in it? You know, you got a pack of peanuts that's got 18 ingredients in it, when all it needs is just peanuts. You know, what you get to see is that these people in these certain demographics are predominantly people of color. So yeah, you might have, and you get people with the, you know, the outlying factor. Like, yeah, there are some white people that live in this community, but predominantly it's people of color. So that's what they're showing, and that's what we're showing, is that you're starting off already in a negative playing field.
Right.
You know, they're already, let's say you're climbing to the top of the mountain. We gave them a 5-hour head start, and we gave them shoes. You know what I'm saying? Now you get up that mountain too, you catch them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things across the board without giving the whole movie away. But, you know, like for instance, we're in LA right now. If people want to really see the difference, I want them to go to Beverly Hills and tell me the address of the McDonald's in Beverly Hills. And if somebody actually gives you the address of McDonald's in Beverly Hills, they're fucking lying, because there's not one.
There's not one McDonald's in Beverly Hills?
You won't find
I didn't
it
even
in
know
Beverly
that.
Hills.
I didn't even know that.
And Beverly Hills is 4.4 miles wide, supposedly like that.
You won't find a McDonald's. You won't find a Popeyes. You won't find...
And one car and one gasoline store, and it's the highest gasoline in the world, in the country.
Oh, that fancy one with the fancy roof.
Yeah, and
I know what you mean.
People still come up and work on your car.
So that's where you get to see where they know what they're doing. They're putting things in certain areas to feed the white America and the people of color. And just because you, like what we try to say, like, hey, that doesn't mean you're racist, that you've been a part of this matrix for so long. It's like, no, but once you realize it,
that speaks to the systemic aspect of all of this.
That's the systemic aspect.
Sort of reinforces this you know, the disproportionate outcomes. I mean, when you look at Black Americans and the incidence of diabetes and obesity, and I mean, and you line that up against white populations, and it's pretty shocking.
And it's what we've been taught. We've been conditioned to believe that we have to eat these certain foods. We've been conditioned to believe that we will have these certain ailments and these certain diseases, but nobody's coming to tell us, you know, that's actually preventable over there. You don't have to get this shit. You know what I'm saying? But we think we got to have a certain way to eat. And most of that stuff, if you trace it back, started off with slavery as well. So you were given this food, and one thing about Black people, we will turn anything you give us into gold. If you give us a fucked up situation, we're going to make the best of it. The problem is that we're still holding on to that fucked up situation every time we eat these certain foods, and it's still keeping us in the system. The one thing is there's a loophole. There's a loophole. Like, the good food that's available out there is available for everybody, but they make you see a $1 hamburger and you think that that's a better value. But in reality, you can get more fruits and vegetables for the week under a certain budget than you would if you were to go buy a steak and all these processed stuff.
But part of the deal is it's fast food. And in our community, usually parents work more than one job. And there's been a lot of times where it's been single parent home, either a single mom or single dad. Mostly mom. So mom doesn't have the time or the wherewithal to go get those vegetables, make it into a meal, unless they're Ethiopian. If they're Ethiopian, they know what to do with the lentils and the corn. And you're trained that way. But in America, we're trained, here, take some money, go get you and your sister something to eat and come back.
Well, go $5, go.
And whatever you can get for $5 is going to be your food for the night. And the food that you're getting is not food, so it doesn't digest, but it swells your stomach. And so if you're getting no nutrients and you're getting no strength, then you have no ability to fight. If you got no ability to fight, you would have no ability to reproduce. If you have no ability to reproduce, they lessen your sperm count. They add tons of obesity has gone, so your self-esteem has dropped. And there's crime on the street, so you can't leave your house. So this is constantly put into a situation to make us fight amongst ourselves while being sick. And that's where it comes into, is why like he said, I did it and why we had to put better restaurants. But I'm going to get an argument from somebody no matter what.
Right.
When they were like, Sal, I mean, I was talking to Shaq and he was like, so I shouldn't eat fried chicken?
Right.
And I was like, nah, you know, and you eating the skin too, and there's the oil and it's going to get into you. So, okay, I saw you telling black people not to eat chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's it. But his film is going to hit, like he said. He's going to get sued a lot. He's going to get sued a lot.
I won't get sued.
But I think your boy knows. I think your boy is smart. He'll know how to get around
Keegan knows how to stir it up. For sure, right? He's proven that a couple times.
And we got
already.
A collective effort here. Like I mean, it's funny. I talk to him every day, and we always are coming up with like brainstorming ideas. Like, oh shit, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, because you know when they see this, they're gonna be pissed. Perfect, because we want people.
Because he's a punk. Our goal, his punk rock thing.
Exactly. You know? Our goal, and this is the thing too. For everybody out there, I don't want people to think that Keegan is running this film. I don't know why people think. Like I had somebody.
If I were you, I would let them think that because when they get sued, let them sue his ass.
But like,
listen, ask the lawyer right there.
Yeah. I had somebody. They disagreed with one of my posts. Like I was like, you know, like all these vegan corporations and organizations that reached out to me about like, hey, we need to promote the black people, but now you're silent. I'm like, fuck y'all. Like I'm being honest. Like, no, fuck y'all. And they were like, ooh, I hope Keegan sees this and he drops him from the film. I'm like,
yeah. I
was like, first of all, Keegan reposted the shit.
Yeah, he's totally on board with that idea.
Yeah, he's totally on board with that. And second of all, I'm like, that plays into the whole mindset of like, well, I'll go report to the white guy that the black guy's over here acting up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the mentality that comes with that is crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. But it's so.
You are a troublemaker.
I am a troublemaker. I am. But I'm only a troublemaker because people don't want to hold on to old fake shit.
You're a troublemaker.
Yeah. Like, if, you know, like.
Well, I mean, vegan Instagram's a shit show right now.
The truth only hurts so much if you live in a lie. That's the truth.
Yeah, that's what I said.
If you live in a lie, the truth is gonna fucking hurt.
You know what I heard yesterday?
What?
Oh my God. It was the greatest thing. There was a guy heckling and saying something. And he said, don't worry about him. He goes, no. He goes, you know what? If you throw a brick at a pack of dogs, only the one that gets hit by the brick howls. So only the people that get upset are the ones who are going to say something about what you're doing.
Exactly.
The ones that the brick hits, the one that hits them, then they got something to howl for.
Like I say, I say it all the time. I was like, look, I might put the shoe out there, but I don't name the name of the shoe. I don't even say what size it is, but it's always some motherfucker coming along saying the shoe fits. And if the shoe fits, you wear it. Like, that's fine with me. But I don't name out anybody. I name out the actions. And I'm like, if you fit these actions, that's you.
So we have no sponsors for the we're done with sponsors.
No,
Jesus Christ.
That's where the Kickstarter comes in.
Somebody needs to take over your Twitter, Donald Trump.
We do have the
give it here. You're killing us.
We do have a crowdfunding going on for the film, and it's to make sure that people are involved in the film even more than what they are.
You remember the name of it? What is it? The crowdfunding.
It's going to be on our website. They're trying to kill us.com.
They're trying to kill us.
They're trying to kill us.com.
Is that website up right now?
Yeah, it's up. It's up. Well, it'll be up by the time you put the show up.
How we spell it? How we spell it? They are. There.
THEYRE. There's no apostrophe on websites, everybody.
By the time this movie comes out, I think John's going to win this argument.
Yeah.
I said it when he said it. I was like, oh my God. But it's so funny.
Has anybody made a nutrition-focused documentary about the Black and African communities, people of color communities?
Well, there was one called The Invisible Vegan. I don't want to I don't want to leave her out.
Yeah,
it's
on Amazon.
Vegan or otherwise, just like get healthy.
Yeah. No, I think before her, I don't think anybody else really made one to focus on people of color, and it's so needed because it's just. I don't think anybody was in a position to make it at the same time. Like I've been fortunate to be able in a position where, you know, Keegan, we've been friends for a long time, and he asked me, he was like, man, I want to do a film, man. with you because he's seen my work and other stuff I've done, social justice and always speaking up and doing speeches. And he's like, let's work together. He's like, I want to reach a different demographic. I was like, well, like let's go for the people of color. Like they need us. He was like, yeah, but I don't know how. I was like, hip hop. Like my first idea was like hip hop. I was like, hip hop runs everything. Like, and I said,
it's the
if you
most
ever
powerful cultural force in the universe.
if you ever want to understand how strong hip hop is, I said, if you close your eyes, you can see a bunch of 6-foot white guys on skates with Jay-Z playing in the background, and you just talked about the NHL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's how powerful it is. The biggest
Hip hop green.
Yeah, hip hop is green. But look at the biggest Broadway show right now.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Hip hop infused. You know what I'm saying? So it's
infused.
like
So what about unhealthy vegans though? Were we only talking about the black unhealthy vegans, or like when you say nutrition, like what point are we getting?
well, we are trying to get people to be healthy. That's the thing. Like there's a big confusion of like veganism and healthy veganism. Like there are some vegan products out there that taste like burger, taste like cheese, taste like that. And sure, in moderation, but what we're trying to do is get people to be vegan for health. It was about healing.
In your movie, what is the path forward? Like, what are the solutions that you're, providing people with?
That's one of the biggest things is I wanted to be solution based with the movie. That's one of the biggest things I told Keegan. So one of them is we're working on actual programs, like more learning programs afterwards. We're showing them how to eat within the movie, showing them where to get fruits and vegetables, where to get nuts, legumes, and rice, whatever it kind of be, but how to put it together that's beneficial to them as well. Like I don't want them to feel like, all right, we gave you this problem, but we didn't show you how to take care of yourself. Showing them like a lot of the different studies and everything, showing how the reversal of all these diseases can be incorporated with this plant-based eating, vegan eating, whatever the case is. One of the biggest things too is like we were working on a actual meal plan, like actual product to be very affordable. So we do see that like a lot of the vegan items are out of the price range for a lot of people. I actually had some talks with a store brand, Whole Foods, if you're listening. Let's get that going. But we were working on having it to where people who watch the film, they could get these meal plans from Whole Foods at an affordable rate. And also have them delivered, since before the pandemic, delivery was still a thing with Whole Foods, and having it delivered to them. Because when I had a meeting with Whole Foods, I told them, I was like, you can build a Whole Foods in the hood right next door to a mom with 6 kids, and she's still not coming. Because for her to get all 6 kids in the car, get them ready, or even if it's a dad, I don't want to sound the wrong way, whoever, a single parent with kids, for them to get them in the car, get them over there, get them there. But now if we provide a solution where we're literally putting it on the doorstep for them, this is already made. All you got to do is heat it up. You know what I'm saying? And this is not like a business.
Just making it as easy as possible,
Just
right?
and
like expanding the perimeter, the delivery perimeter also, because those Whole Foods are far away.
And we're talking about Amazon. They have the capability to reach everybody. They're already delivering. Like, why not have it to where they give it to them there? And I have been in talks with other stores as well. So if it doesn't work out with Whole Foods, it's gonna work out.
Right. Well, whatever the solution is, it's got to be convenient, affordable, easy, and there has to be an education piece to it.
And there's an education piece. We're actually showing them like, hey, if you don't want us to make stuff, here's also stuff that you can do at home on your own. Get the kids involved. So I think that's a big thing too. Is like we don't involve our kids in the process of making our food. So when the food is on their table, they're like, why'd you give me this? And so now it's like involving the whole family if they have time, because we also know, like you said, you got single parents or whatever working 2-3 jobs. I was raised in a single family household. My mom was working her ass off because she was a manager for Bell South or Pacific Bell, but it was Southwestern Bell where we were. And as a black person in the 80s, as a managing role, a black lady at that, she was putting in extra hours that the white guy that worked under her wasn't even putting in because she had to show that she was capable of this job. So, I ate chicken damn near every night because it was frozen chicken from Sam's Club.
Yeah.
It was easy.
I unplugged my microwave.
Yeah.
Told my daughters it was broke. And they found out. But and then one day I just started putting, Koya Webb taught me, I just put a whole bunch of dishes in there. So when they went to use it, it was already, they didn't
You're too lazy. You're too lazy to do it. Yeah.
I made them.
That was
learn
all
how
it
to
took.
cook.
Just put some dishes in
Yeah.
there and just
All
never
of
got
them, they
used
had-
again.
Yeah, they had to learn how to cook, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad teaching. It's a trip. It's a thing that hasn't been around. My mother made me learn how to do everything.
Yep.
But yeah, it's I can't wait for your movie to come out.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's exciting. I know, like COVID has like pushed it back a little bit. I
Yeah.
know you got some.
I want to
you can
retape
do
because I
some
got more
interviews.
muscles now. Now that
Yeah.
I've been able to work out. I'm framing my body back. I think I was really soft in that. I think my body was soft. I want my body stronger.
The power that a document like that holds to really shift culture is super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's where, look, the whole vegan thing, the vegan movement, it's so super whitewashed. It's this
Super.
like, aspiration of like the well-heeled, and that narrative needs to get shifted. And the fact that you're doing that is.
But what I found out when, and I'm going to say it this way, when white folks are vegan and are into natural way of eating, they are more empathetic and they understand slavery. What I mean by that, they don't know it directly, but they don't want the animals enslaved, and they will understand the horrific treatment of animals, and that Black folks at one time were submitted to the same level and still considered that it's a better feeling when I'm around vegans than I'm around a flesh eater. When I'm around a flesh eater, they still think, well, I can take my gun and go shoot a deer and then I'm cool. And I go, why don't you go hunting with it? Everybody got a gun.
Right.
Let's see how
Like
good you
when
are.
they call hunting a sport, it's like, no, a sport is when all parties involved know they're a part of the game.
Yeah.
Like the animal doesn't have a fucking clue.
Give that
when you think about it, the overlap between, how I would like to think about myself approaching this situation and my, how I think about veganism. I mean, there's a huge overlap, right? This is about like compassion. It's about, being open to new ideas. It's about, challenging your assumptions and, sort of undoing some of that programming. Like none of us were born vegan. We lived a certain way and ate a certain way. We made a change. And, I would like to believe that it's made me a more compassionate person. But it has been interesting to kind of watch how the vegan community is grappling with what's happening right now. And, some are doing it well and some are not. And that's disheartening to me because this is about compassion. And I would hope that everybody can, think about that a little bit in terms of like how they're communicating and navigating what's happening.
Yeah, and I think also it's just that one thing that I saw that was kind of weird is that how you'll see vegans compare modern day agriculture, animal agriculture, to slavery. It's like, well, if you speak that way, then why wouldn't you speak up for the descendants of that same slavery? Like that's the funny thing. Like they feel like they can't speak up about it. Oh no, we only speak up for the animals. Like, yeah, but if you are going to use slavery as your speaking note, then you can't be hypocritical about it. Now you have to remember, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I see that so many times across the board. They'll use that so fast. It's like modern day slavery. Okay, well then if it's modern day slavery, you understand how powerful slavery was and how it trickled down and how the effects can still be here. But you don't say anything.
That's it. We on Rich Roll now. They got to say it. He's going to edit this shit with about 15 minutes of sponsors in the front.
Well, like
and he's going to
Trust
let
me,
us
somebody
roll.
will figure out how to put
I
me
still
on
do
blast.
gotta go.
Yeah.
But Rich, no bullshit. I do have to
I
go
know,
get
and
my
I was going to
daughter.
wrap this up anyway. I knew it. No, that was my thing. I'm going to just keep going until John has to pull the plug. So,
No,
Stop that all lives matter
No,
shit.
I'm an empty nester. My kids are away. and it's just me, my wife, and my puppy. And I was like,
Beautiful.
"Hey, what's your name?" She goes, "My name is Natasha. I've been married to you for 29 years." I was, I was wondering who this redhead was in the house. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, man. I really
you're
do.
an ally.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying, man.
That's right. I gave it to you.
All right. Official?
Official, all the way from Killer Mike to me to
Your
you.
membership card is in the mail. It should get here within.
You know it's going to be late.
Because I'm going to flash that thing.
You know it's going to be late, Coach.
Let's go with the stereotype. It's going to be late, and it might have a little bit of barbecue sauce on it. If we're going to do some stereotyping
right.
shit, let's do
Oh
it.
wait, so I want to speak about this. This is good. So anybody can do the research. So I found out today that when you talk about the trickle down effect of racism and how it's just been in place for so long. So the ice cream man, the truck when it comes around and it has that song playing in the background. So there was a song that actually came from, and in the lyrics it was like "niggers love watermelon" in the song. So it's a poster right now, and it was recorded for Columbia Records in like 1926 or 36. I think
Get
it said.
21.
Really?
21.
Maybe 21, yeah.
Maybe.
So you can find the song and the video that went along with it is like this gray and white cartoon depiction of blackface, and these they showing them being excited about eating watermelon, excited about being at home. It's just. So it's like those little things, they turned that, and of course they made it like an instrumental out of it, but that shows you how long shit has just been thrown into black people's face, and they're like, no, get over it. It's like, nah, you don't get over it. Like
Jingle Bells too.
Yeah, Jingle Bells.
Really?
Yeah, Jingle Bells. The national anthem. Like,
Yeah.
like, and we don't even have to go in detail. Just people start Googling the actual lyrics to these songs. And then you see why people get frustrated. It's like, dude, this shit's right in our face. But everybody's like, just get over it. It's okay. It's okay. Like, no, it's not okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a great year, 2020. How about 1920
It
was
is,
the
though.
raging
Yeah.
20s, right?
Yeah.
That was the thing. It was, it was the raging 20s. It was like
Roaring
black-
20s.
roaring
Yeah, roaring
20s,
20s.
Yeah.
roaring 20s. Like, so we're the COVID 20s.
Yeah.
But we got to come up with this 20s is something. It's
Yeah.
something. And I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but every
But they said it
100
was
years-
vision.
Kinda like
I honestly think it is the year of vision. I think it's just showing us some things we weren't really looking for.
Mhm.
But it's showing us a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like 2020 is showing
That
us
is for
a lot.
sure.
Yeah, we can do
sure.
it. We can do a lot. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's like we can do a lot, and I say that. My mother passed this year, and then the day after I buried her, Kobe died, and then that was traumatic. And then we got locked down,
Mhm.
and then the economy happened, crashed, and then President Trump took over the Fed, and then what happened?
Double lockdown.
Hillary is in court. For
And you know what was crazy about that too? Like he'll tell you, I randomly just hit him up all the time. Like, hey, just want to see if he was all right, just see if he was up. And I don't know, something gave me a feeling. And that's when I texted him. He was cleaning out his mom's apartment at the time. And something just told me to text him. Like I half the time he don't even fucking respond. Like
that's not true. That's not true.
But he'll hit me back later though. Like
Uh-huh.
but that's our relationship. Like he'll hit me like, hey man, you need to watch this, take care of this. Like a big brother mentor kind of like thing that we got. So, and then when he hit me back about his mom, I'm like, damn. Like but something told me to hit him up. And then right after that, it's funny because I was in LA. I was like, hey, I'm in LA. I'm letting you know. Because I know if I come to LA and I don't tell him, even if I don't see him, it's a problem. If I come to LA and he find out later that I
He's
was
gonna
in
know
LA.
anyway. You're gonna
Yeah.
know.
So I was like, hey, I'm
He's
in
so
LA.
lucky I don't chase broads anymore.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
joking.
And so like
He'd
I
be
told him like, yo, like I'm in LA. He's like, oh man, I'm doing this. And then the next day was Kobe. And I was like, shit. So I
That
had
was
to hit
the
him
next
back.
day.
So I had to hit him back after that. I was like, damn, man, I just heard about Kobe, man. Like, I know you was close with Kobe, so I hope you good, man. If
Yeah,
you
it was
need, I'm like, if you
crazy.
need me, I'm here. But if you, I'm one of those people too, like, I hate hitting up people during like bad times because I already know 8,000 people are hitting them up. You know
But
what I'm
it's
saying?
better.
Mm.
It's always good. People need to know this. Hit people up during the tough times not the good times.
Right.
Then when shit is flying, don't hit them and say, I see you balling, motherfucker. Don't hit them with that. You know, clap from a distance. But when it's tough times, let people know.
Yeah. And that's why I told him, I was like, hey, if you need to call me back, I'm here. If not, dude, I totally understand. I'm not one of the people like, well, I called them and they didn't call me back. It's like, no, that's ego. Like, let that person deal with the situation how they got to deal with it.
Just let them know you're there.
Yeah, just let them know I'm here if you need me. You probably don't need me, but if so, I'm here.
Yeah, we should re-interview. I'm getting my muscle back. Look at that. It's coming back, Rich.
That baby bicep.
Good life lesson to put a pin in it.
Yeah.
You got to get John out of here, man. He's getting antsy.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay vegan.
Thanks, guys.
Yes,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thank
Peace.
you, man.
Lance.
Much love to everybody.